Hey guys, everything new under the sun. I want to do a little update on the Midnight Solar. I just thought I would let you know what it is that is going on with it right now. So we published part 3, I believe, where I took a look at the local app and installing a Wi-Fi bridge on it. So that's working perfectly. As you can see here, this is the local app running. This is early morning, so the sun hasn't hit the panels yet. You can see we're at 12.5 volts. Remember, I only have a 90 amp hour, and you can see the amp hours here. I only have a 90 amp hour battery on this, so a small capacity, plus this battery is past end of life, so it doesn't really hold a charge. That being said, though, it is running the Wi-Fi bridge 24/7 at this point. So what I did to run the Wi-Fi bridge was I made use of its USB connector, and I put one of these little guys on the battery with a socket and clamps just to run it. This is kind of the lowest power thing you can use. Converts 12 volts to the 5 volts for USB, and then it uses like half an amp, I believe, the Wi-Fi bridge itself. So this seems to work. This is pretty low power. The charge controller consumes a bit of power itself, but I got it plugged in with that, and that seems to work really well. So I leave it overnight, and it does use some amp hours, and you can see the battery's down to 12.5. Not horrible. It's better than 12.4 or 3, 12 point whatever. You can see my volts is rising on the left hand side there, and let me see, get rid of that here. So we can see 13 volts. Oh, it's trying to do MPPT. You can see the voltage dropping there. And it's not really putting any amps into the battery at this point, just because, again, the sun is well off. It's not even shining anywhere near the panels right now, but they're bringing in some voltage. So just a little update. This is the morning, but as I watch this through the day, it does seem to work quite well. The local app, the local app, I find it does time out. After a while, you got to load it up again, but it's not. I don't know if it's supposed to be something you leave running on your desktop all the time. It's just for occasional monitoring. Unfortunately, I can't. There is an app for Android devices in the Google Play app store. Unfortunately, I don't have an Android device to actually try it, and it seems to work pretty well too. Made by some third party, not Midnight Solar, but that is interesting. I think the part 4 of the actual Midnight Classic 150 series is going to be using My Midnight, I believe it's called My Midnight, which talks about the cloud-based monitoring system. And so for some of that, you have to do some port forwarding. May have to use DIN DNS because I don't have a public IP address, etc. So I'm going to see if I can get that working. I'm not sure if I can or not, because I actually don't have a public IP address, so I don't know if I can even track it with DIN DNS. But I'll certainly try it at least. Interesting thing. By the way, a little note: if you're getting alert about the synchronization of your time, if I go into configuration here, go into basic, and you scroll to the bottom, you have this classic time, and you can sync the time. The key here is that there is a sync time option, and if you read the manual, it shows it. But there's a sync time option that's buried in, I believe it's in the tweaks section of the management menu, and you got to go to like page 4. I think it's called More 4 of the tweaks to find that option. So it's kind of buried in there, and so you got to turn that off before this actually works. Otherwise, if you don't turn that off, then the charge controller itself continues to overwrite what the local app is trying to send to it. So you got to turn that off, and then you can actually update the time. So that was one of those gotchas there. Probably not worth the whole video on. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a gotcha video and just run through a couple of things that I found with the Midnight Classic. But that's a little update. Still working on the data here. For whatever reason, I'm not getting live data from this unit. So this is something I'm working with tech support at Midnight on, looking for some answers there, because I'd like to show you all the graphing capabilities and the onboard graphs. I think it holds 380 days worth of data, so it's pretty cool from that point of view. I'd love to be able to show you my amp hours day over day week over week and voltages, etc. So yeah, that's probably going to be like a part 5 or something. And I haven't even got into the Chatty Cathy and the voice dictation of the unit. So those are things that I'm excited to get into. So just a little update from the Wi-Fi bridge, tell you how that was going, and the whole situation. It seems to work really well, and I don't even have my solar panels mounted properly yet. They're still kind of in a shaded area. You'll note on the main screen here that sometimes little buttons, little icons come up, and they tell you, if it recognizes that there's solar shading happening, or if there's a time sync issue. A whole bunch of interesting information comes up there related to that. So anyways, just a quick video, guys. I didn't want this to be long, but a little update on the Midnight Solar Classic 150 that is completely off-grid in my Airstream, and it's working well, and the Wi-Fi bridge is working well, and I wanted to show you how I did that. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 4 of the Midnight Solar Classic 150 series.